excited to share a word of encouragement during this Holy Week with this world and God's people in an effort to help us fix our broken peace. We believe that the peace of God's people has been broken primarily because we have fixed our focus on Corona. Hear me well when I tell you that Corona is serious. It is something that we need to pay attention to. But what you need to know is that Christ is still in control. And if we would but redirect our focus, if we would spend more time on focusing on Christ than Corona, then we will learn that Christ still got control. He has not lost any power. He can still do exceedingly abundantly above anything we can think or even imagine. And we believe that if we would inoculate ourselves with gratitude, if we would learn that gratitude is a vaccine, gratitude is an antioxidant, gratitude is an antiseptic, if we would learn that if we would spend time focusing on those things, as Paul put it, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, we need to focus on those things. And when we do, it will allow us to fix our focus. It will allow us to saturate our peace with things of comfort that will give God peace. In this Holy Week, we, the New Horizon Church, hope to encourage you with a word from our preacher, 7 days of 7 sayings, where we can encourage you that the Lord made it and fixed it so that we can overcome even Corona. We thank God for our preacher and the way that he's going to share with us in this week. But we want to also share in this Holy Week a little saying each day that you might be encouraged and take more time focused on Christ than we do on Corona. Don't lose sight. Don't not be aware. Don't be ignorant to the fact of how serious Corona really is. But we don't want you to lose sight of who Christ is. Let's take this Holy Week and focus on our Christ who hung, bled, and died for us and got up early Sunday morning with all power in his hand. And with that same power, Corona is defeated already. Thank God for Palm Sunday that we've already had a chance to appreciate Christ's triumphant entry on day 1. And here we are on day 2 where Jesus clears a temple. Jesus, the following morning, after his triumphant entry, what he does is he passed alongside a fig tree that was not bearing fruit, and the Bible says that he cursed the fig tree. There are some scholars that believe that this was God's judgment on the spiritually dead, but others believe that this was symbolic. And extended to all believers, demonstrating the genuine faith that is more than just an outward religious demonstration. But we, the born-again believers, we ought to show and demonstrate a faith that bears spiritual fruit even in our personal life. When Jesus arrived in the temple, he found in the courts full of corrupt money changers. He began overturning the tables, the Bible says, and the scripture declares that the Lord told them that my house will be called the house of prayer, and you have made it a den of thieves. Amen. We believe on Monday evening that Jesus stayed in Bethany, as the scripture teaches, probably in the home of his friends Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. Enjoy this day too of knowing how the Lord will keep out of his church or what's in there that keep those that need to be in there out. Thank God for day 2 of this Holy Week. Now, we hope that you would stay tuned for the first saying on the cross of Jesus Christ. May God bless you and may God keep you is our prayer.
Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. This is the first saying on the cross, the first of the 7 sayings that we will be discussing throughout this week. Today we'll be dealing with Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Who them? Who they? Who are they? Who are them? Who are them? They are the Roman guards who took him from judgment hall to judgment hall, courtroom to courtroom, who whipped him and beat him and mocked him. They, them Romans made him carry that old rugged cross, a heavy cross, 656 yards down the Via Dolorosa. Even with that, Jesus still forgave them, for they didn't know. But are they the only ones we should focus our attention on? What about them over there? What about Mark 14 and 15, where it says, "Then all his disciples deserted him and ran away"? Them, the Jesus who picked them out and other threw them away. Jesus picked them, the social outcasts, the rejects, loved them, fed them, healed them, taught them, showed them miracles, allowed them to even do the impossible like walk on water, or see the amazing like bringing the dead to life. And still, when Jesus was arrested, they left him and ran away. Jesus' message was for them also, those who physically abused them and those who left him, for they did not know what they were doing. Lastly, I see another set of them. These may be the ones who need it the most. Them in Romans 5 and 8. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this, that while we were yet sinners, or while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Them, us, me, you. Who them? Am I included? Yes, you are definitely included. Them is also for you and I. Fact is, you and I are able to receive this forgiveness because, to be honest, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how bad our life was until we hooked up with Jesus and he showed us how filthy we really were and how awesome he really is. Watch this. Even though we were sinning, he still loved us enough to let it go. And that is what forgiveness means in the original context. Means to let it go. Even if the other person continue, you have to learn how to let it go. Because the text says, after he even forgave them or cried out to his father, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." It goes on to say, and they divided his clothes and they cast lots, and they continue to mock him, and they continue to do things to him and talk about him and scream crazy words towards him and degrading words towards him. He forgave them and they continued. In other words, they even continued when Jesus let it go. So here's the message for us today. Jesus forgave us, or Jesus let it go by holding on. He let it go by holding on to an old rugged cross. It's simply proof that Jesus forgave in his staying on that old rugged cross.